From Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, it's the Lind Shoes Open, the 13th of 22 Open Division qualifiers of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. 84 teams and well over 400 bowlers have ventured their way to the Northeast in our first visit to Bradley Bowl. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mike Jakubowski, along with PBA Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. And Earl, you've got some history in this building.
Well, there's no question about that, Mike. The Northeast, you could call this the capital of bowling for the Northeast. Right here at Windsor Locks, Connecticut, Bradley Bowl, Red Burnham and his staff do an outstanding job, and they've done it for a number of years for a variety of events, including the big tournaments like the PBA Championships, and they've done a great job for the World Team Challenge, and they've been wonderful hosts.
And speaking of team competition, Earl, in our tournament leader spot today, we have the Columbia Cuda C's.
And they've been there many times, Mike. As you well know, in 1993, they finished second in the Grand Championships. In 1996, they finished second again in the Grand Championships. They had a change in the lineup. Jimmy Johnson Jr., Mr. 300, is no longer on the team. They replaced him with a very young, talented player in Bryan O'Keefe. And maybe he's going to be their good luck charm. Maybe he can help them go all the way and win the Grand Championship.
But first, we have our semifinal match. Tylenol Incorporated is getting set to face Expressway Bowling Supply. And also this afternoon, we look forward to the commentary of our colleague James Mack, who will be along the sidelines.
It's a tank.
A dancer.
It's off the charts. It's on target. Concrete. A theory.
Ruthless, only meaner.
It's there in the 10th frame. Perfect symmetry. It's a partner. A hero.
A scapegoat.
It's war and peace. It's a Brunswick ball. For any lane. It's a habit.
When it comes to making quality bowling shoes, no company does it better than Linz. And now Linz has designed an entirely new approach with the Classic Extra. The Linz Classic Extra offers the ability to change the sliding characteristics of both the sole and the heel, providing virtually unlimited options. If you find the approaches are a bit slick or tacky, the Classic Extra enables you to compensate by simply replacing the color-coded slide inserts. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Classic Extra from Linz.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Lind Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lind Shoes, the choice of top professionals and amateurs alike. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
And welcome back to Bradley Bowl for the Lind Shoe Open on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Tylenol Incorporated is set to go against Expressway Bowling Supply, and leading off for Tylenol is Ray Mooney. Mooney qualified at 186. The 6-game qualifying block preceding the Baker system match play. Crossing over for the strike.
Very quickly, the format, in case you're not aware, is 6 qualifying games, 84 teams entered. They all bowled 6 qualifying games on Saturday. The top 10, based on total pinfall, went into the Baker system match play. They bowled 10 2-game matches with bonus pins involved. The top 3 teams you see right here now.
And leading off for Expressway Bowling Supply is Brian Ziesig, 22 years old. And an early break. Strike apiece, a couple of breaks apiece.
And the pins have been falling pretty good, Mike, if you could get the ball in the pocket area. That's the hard part, trying to adjust to the varying lane conditions and getting the ball in the pocket area. And here's another look at that last one. Watch the head pin. As it goes to the sideboards, comes back, gets pins dancing and falling forward. That's all it takes. Even the Brunswick pins will fall down if you hit them right, huh, Mike?
That's right.
We're wrong.
Bowling in the 2-7 position is Ed Szygiel. Nothing but strikes early.
Well, there is that bonus available. Who knows? Maybe today's the day. The high roller people.
And that $500 bonus will come with games of 240 or better and a 450 series or better. Here's our first look at Carl Fucci for Expressway.
Got a little bit of a break there. Only the 3-6-10. Shouldn't be any problem covering this. Going cross lane, pick up his spare ball, try to get the ball between the 3 and the 6. And there's a reason for those glasses, Mike. Can you talk to him a little bit about that?
Yes, they cut the glare a little bit, and his other glasses were broken. These are prescription glasses.
Well, that's trouble. Got to be careful. Oh,
And the Contour Power Grip starting lineup for Tile All Inc. is Ray Mooney, Ed Szygiel, Paul Alig, John Longacre, and Ed Shuler at the anchor position. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too.
I do. Yes, I do.
Paul Alig for Tile All. The 3-8 on his shirt reflects that he will bowl in the 3rd and the 8th frames for Tile All. Perfect for 3.
Well, I don't know if it's perfect, but they got 3 strikes.
That looks the same on paper.
It sure does. I like his game. He does watch how quickly he gets his hand through the ball, but he does cut the ball short. See how quickly he comes up off the shot there, and that will make the ball hook a little early. But that's his normal game. He just didn't give it enough room this time.
Gary Shultis for Expressway Bowling Supply. 207 qualifying average, including a 689 in his first 3 games of qualifying. Trouble.
And yeah, he's a little shocked with that. He thought he threw a better shot than that.
As we take a look at the Contour Power Grip starting lineup for Expressway Bowling, Brian Ziesig, Carl Fucci, Gary Shultis, Don Hicks, and anchoring Bob Brust.
Oh, he gave it a good try, but just took a little more than he expected.
And we move to the 4th frame. In the first game, of course, a Baker match consists of a team bowling their entire first game on one lane, and then we'll turn around in game 2, switch lanes, 2 game total pins decide the match as Tile All with a 35 pin lead here in the early going, the first of 2 in our semifinal match. Here's John Longacre.
Well, it was a good shot, maybe one of the better shots we've seen so far, and it didn't strike. So bowling, there is a little luck in this game, like most other sports, but still, good shots generally pay off well, and that was a good shot. He continues to throw it there, he'll be successful. Easy spare, cross lane at the 7 pin.
Longacre pretty successful in qualifying at 219.8, which included series of 668 and 651.
That's outstanding, considering it was a difficult scoring event. Only 4 teams averaged 200 in qualifying out of those 84 we mentioned.
And we move to the 4th frame for Expressway Bowling Supply. Don Hicks qualified at 212. Hicks shot 589 and 687 for his 2 qualifying blocks of 3 games.
Big, strong guy here. Gets plenty of ball speed, lots of rotation. That one got away from him completely. And from his reaction, maybe he had a little approach problem, but that ball was gone left before hardly even let go of it. This is a tough spare. Because of the leave, the right-hander, the ball's going to be hooking into the spare. It'll be tough to get the 2 back pins, especially the pin on the left, the 8 pin. He's going to try to maybe cross the head pin on this, but no matter how he plays it, this is a tough shot. Oh, he got it off the kick cut. How about that? Oh, got to feel good about that.
Take those breaks when you can get them. It's pretty much what all the players were saying this week.
Watch this. Watch the head pin now. It's going to go back and hit the cushion in the back, come off the wall, hit the cushion, and bounce back and get the 8 pin from behind. It's pretty sneaky. Pretty sneaky.
Here's Ed Shuler for Tile All. 5th frame, leaving the bucket.
And a tough spare. 2, 4, 5, 8. Here's a few of the stats. The high games this week, these are team games. Remember, there were 6 games, and those are really outstanding games, but no one can continue to keep it together to shoot the big numbers for the 6 games. There's the high games individual. Bill Major with a 300 game, and he got the Linz bonus because he was wearing the Linz shoes, and that's an extra $1,000, boys. So you're going to go put those Linz on.
And Shuler with a nice conversion on the bucket. And we'll move to the anchor player for the Expressway team here in the 5th frame. It's Bob Brust, the captain.
And watching the last game, the position round game, when they were bowling to get on the telecast, he came through in the 10th frame for him. They needed a mark. He threw the big strike, and that was the one that iced it and got him to this point. That was against Trophies Unlimited, who finished 4th. Some players you might know there, Paul Zetgolas, Wayne Sheridan, names like that.
High series for the weekend. Bryan O'Keefe, 737. Anthony Chapman, 711. That's a pretty powerful 228 on top, leading averages this weekend. On a kickback.
Yeah, we're doing some trick shots out there.
We'll be back with more of our opening match from Bradley Ball right after this. Welcome back to the Linz Shoes Open here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. We are in frame 6 of game 1 of our semifinal match. And Ray Mooney for Tyalol. Couldn't catch the break this time.
9 in the wiggle, only the 7-pin standing, and the left-handers or the right-handers, neither one have had a problem shooting the corner pins. It's when they go across the other way, when the left-hander shoots the 10-pin, that it's a problem. But going at the 7-pin, he shouldn't have any problem with this. He'll switch balls, go hard and straight, use a lot of the lane. He'll be targeting the middle of the lane, 4th arrow. Great shot.
Second opportunity now for Brian Ziesig here in the 6th frame. And Earl, the last 4 counts for Expressway Bowling have been 7-7, 6-6.
This is a good game, good solid game here. See how the elbow is tucked in? That means he can keep it inside the ball so he can go straight through the back of the ball. Gets a lot of heavy roll on the ball. That one, not enough to get back. Lots of ball speed there. I like his game though, good solid game. That's an important fundamental for you bowlers at home. Keeping that elbow tucked inside the middle of the bowling ball. Keep it, in other words, close to your body, as close as you can. And you won't ever have the opportunity then to get your elbow out or fly your elbow, what they call the flying elbow, or top the ball. This is a good position. See how he tucks that right elbow in? That's the place to be right there.
And a nice spare for Ziesig, who was the 1993-94 first team All-American at St. John's. Owner of 15 career 300 games. 35 pins the advantage for Tyalol after 6 frames of our first game here in the Baker system. We'll turn it around and bowl the second game, and total pins, of course, determines who will go on to face our tournament leaders, the Columbia Cuda C's, to decide who goes to the Grand Championships next August in Reno.
He's just having a real tough time getting the ball started on line. That one, again, going left out of his hand. And I'm not sure what's causing that. Maybe some kind of a fundamental mistake in his approach or something of that nature. But generally, you're bouncing the ball out to the right with your arm swing when you do that. But I don't see that happening here. Got away with it, though. Only the 3-pin, a pretty easy spare here.
And Szygiel converts the easy spare. Although nothing is really easy on this type of lane condition, Earl.
No, that's true. And I wonder if this might be something that could be an advantage, having the dark glasses. Maybe you can see your target better, less glare from the lights that we installed so you can see very well at home what's going on, which they do reflect off the lane and things of that nature. You can see the concentration here.
And it stands up.
Good shot there. Almost got it back, not quite. He looks like he could be a compadre of our statistician, Peter Hagen. They tend to probably eat the same places, things like that.
Wear dark sunglasses too, I believe.
I'll bet they do, yes. Peter does. That's how he can go incognito to his buffet tables. All right, 2-4-5 here. Shouldn't be a big problem here. Down the left side of the lane and lots of ball speed.
Fucci picks up the spare. 8th frame. Here's Paul Alig, struck in his first attempt on a crossover. Let's see what kind of adjustment he makes here, Earl.
Another good game, another good solid game, good fundamentals. You can see this is his 3rd time on television, and so he should be getting pretty well accustomed to it. See the elbow tucked in again? Same idea here. Get through the back of the ball, a lot of wrist snap. Got away with one, had the 2-8-10, only the 2-8, and again, not a real difficult spare. There are a lot of ways to miss it, a few ways to make it. He should be able to just line up off his strike line and hook the ball into the spare and not have any problems. There's his lifetime stats. You can see those. He's 2 Baker games, got 3 strikes, 1 spare, and no opens, which is outstanding. The no opens part is what I'm looking at.
And Alig on the spare. Those stats coming in the team challenge event in 1996 in Pittsburgh.
Expressway Lanes is a tournament team. They put this team together just to bowl tournaments, and they enjoy each other's company, so they figure they can, if they like each other, maybe they'll bowl good together. It's always a good thing to have, friends that you can get along with and bowl. Just enough of the 5 to get out to 4. Pretty tricky there. These guys have got a lot of trick shots going today, especially on their spares.
9th frame, John Longacre. Spare and a single pin in his first attempt. 33-year-old laboratory technician. Delaware State team champion. Also Philadelphia team champion. So team bowling is certainly in his repertoire.
Oh, great shot there. Best shot we've seen. Starting to get a little more relaxed. Remember, they only get to help their team twice each game, each bowler, unless you're bowling anchor. You only get 2 shots in the Baker system. And as Mike has mentioned, we bowl 2 games total pins to determine the winner. And there's a lot of pressure out there. You feel it, especially with 4 other guys depending on you to make a good shot so that they can add to it.
Don Hicks trying to chip into a 37-pin lead. Can take it at 27 with a strike. And does. With a double, the first double for Expressway. And make that a 25-pin advantage for Tyalal. And Expressway will have the opportunity to chip into that, but also Ed Shuler coming up with a strike in the 9th has a chance to extend that lead, making his 3rd Brunswick World Team Challenge TV appearance.
Tyalal 7-3 in match play, as opposed to Expressway Lanes, who were 3-6-1 in match play. So even though they knocked down a lot of pins, talking about Expressway, they weren't very successful in match play. And sometimes that'll carry over right through the telecast. Here's another look at that last shot. Good free arm swing here, good balance at the foul line, gets through the ball really well. Got a good break there. Crossed it over, the head pin did all the damage to the 5-9.
59% strikes in match play for Shuler. Pretty good average. And he gets one home there.
Pretty good start for this team. 231 possible, if I'm correct. And everybody's shaking their head, yes, you're correct. So 231, what a great start. And that puts the pressure on the anchor man for Expressway to come back and match that. Try to keep them in the game. They still have a possible 206. See him talking to himself. Words that will help him concentrate, get the line the way he wants to, and good shot, just like that.
Make that 230 for Tyalal, and Earl Shuler was a part of a team in Baltimore that shot a Baker 300 game, and I was there to see that.
What position? Do you remember what position he was bowling?
He's in the anchor position.
He was in bowling anchor, so he got 3 strikes. Everybody watching and knowing he needed to get them. That's doing well, especially in the Baker system.
And we compare that 59% we saw to 45% for Bob Brust, although he got the big one to get him here, Earl.
Right, and he's a very emotional player. He gets it going. He lets you know he's happy, and you see him run it out. He was running out when he let go. He was almost back off the approach. Good shot there, only the 10 pin, but he really wanted to strike badly. Another look at that, and I want you to let go of the ball, and as soon as he sees it going down the lane, he's starting to go. Here he goes. (18 of 22 spares, which is not bad. It's not as good as it should be, maybe, but Remember, these guys are amateur players, and even though they might be some of the best amateurs, they don't do it for a living. So you can't expect them not to make a mistake once in a while. Cross lane just to fill the frame, possible 185 and a 45-pin deficit here in the opening game of this two-game Baker system match.
And a strike. We'll be back with game 2. We'll turn things around. More of the Lynn Shoes Open after this.
I've won 23 PBA titles and 2 ABC Masters with Contour Power Grips. They're my choice. Don't you think they should be your choice?
That's a winner, folks. What a great performance by Ernie Schlegel.
You know, Earl, I never really thought I had anything in common with you until I won the ABC Masters title.
Ah, but Ernie, I won the Masters twice.
But Earl,
And Ernie, I've won 46 times on the PBA tours.
But Earl,
And I'm also been elected to both the ABC and PBA Halls of Fame.
Okay, enough. I get the picture.
Well, there is one thing we do have in common, Ernie.
We
both use Contour Power Grips.
And they give me the feel I want shot after shot.
That's right, and they have the styles and colors that can make anybody's game better.
Contour Power Grips will also help me win my second Masters title, too.
Yeah, Ernie.
Contour Power Grips, manufactured by the pioneers in the finger grip industry, Pro Sports Systems. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. Ask your Pro Shop professional for Contour Power Grips.
In our great sport, there are people who bowl and there are bowlers. The difference is right here in my hand, the American Bowling Congress membership card. Without standards or rules enforced by ABC, what do our accomplishments really mean? The greatest bowlers of all time have always been ABC members. It's important because it provides the credibility we all need. So when you go bowling, make sure you ask to compete in an ABC-sanctioned league or tournament. It's your assurance that you really are a bowler and not just going bowling. Let's go bowling with ABC.
Hi, I'm here with Eddie Shuler, the anchor bowler for Tyler. Eddie, you guys got off to a really good start. Do you expect to play the right lane any different than the left?
No, it was a little bit more consistent in practice, so that's why we chose to start on the left side and finish on the right. So hopefully we'll just stay with it and attack it and come out on top again.
Attack being the key. You know, guys don't want to get tentative here. You want to stay aggressive, right?
That's it. Just stay down through the shot and stay relaxed and have some fun like we've been having all weekend.
All right, thanks. Good luck. Back to Mike in the booth.
Thank you, James. Expressway Bowling Supply, bowling on lane 39, the left lane. Here's Bryan Ziesig.
Crossing over, leaving the 5-pin, and he's just not comfortable. He can't seem to get comfortable. You see by his attitude and look on his face that things aren't going quite the way he'd hope. Big crowd here, Mike.
Great crowd. First time here in the Northeast. First time to Bradley Bowl. 84 teams, sold out field. We had 14 teams on the waiting list here. So certainly if you plan to bowl in a World Team Challenge event, get your entries in early. Bowlers had a blast here this weekend. Ziesig on the spare. Expressway Bowling Supply needs to make up 45 pins in this match to face our tournament leaders for the title here at the Lynn Shoes Open. Ray Mooney, lead off for Tyler with a strike and a spare in his first 2 attempts.
Ray's one of 4 left-handers you'll see today. Only 1 in the opening match, but there are 3 on the Columbia team. Great shot there. Here's another great shot. The man, Red Burnham, general manager here at Bradley Bowl, and boy, I've known this guy forever. He's done a wonderful job over the last, I think, 29 years he's been here.
29 years, and he said it's tough to try to find a week off in his schedule.
Well, he doesn't do anything when he's here, though, Mike. He just hangs around.
Here's Fucci, a little short.
Well, he's going to get me for that one.
He won't be the first.
I wonder if these glasses might be bothering him. Watch how he kind of looks down toward the bottom. Maybe he's used to looking through his other glasses in a different way. So it's bothering him a little bit. I don't know. Just
It's like he's just trying to sight something.
Yeah.
Trying to find a mark or something to sight his target. The owner of Expressway Bowling Supplies. Okay, second frame, second game. Here's Ed Szygiel with a strike and spare in his first 2 attempts. Add that to his lifetime TV stats. And a double, increasing the lead to 59 pins.
Very much in the hunt for that 450 bonus we talked about in the high roller people, Mike. Another look at that shot. That's just as good as you're going to get it. 10 in the pit, and he knows it when he let go. He knew it when he let go, I should say. And so did the whole crowd. They were pulling for him. Intensity in his eyes there. You can see that he's really into this. This is the team that's got to get it going, and they better get it going soon. They're going to run out of frames. Well, even though it wasn't a very good shot, he got a break, got 9 count, and an easy spare for Gary. And see, the players always seem to want to switch bowling balls to get something that doesn't hook across lane, and use as much of the lane as you can when you shoot your spares. You'll be more consistent that way. The spare's a lot easier.
Just like that. Paul Alig for Tyler, electrical engineer. Bowling in the 3-8 position. We're in the 3rd frame of game 2. High roller bonus still in effect. We'll pay $500 to all 240 games or higher and all 450 series. Tyler needs 220 for the 450 series, and there's a strike, 3 in a row. We'll be back with more of the Lynn Shoes Open from Bradley Bowl after these messages. And while we're away, Hicks with a spare. The lead is 72 pins for Tyler.
Oh, look at here. When you got it going, you got it going, folks. And hit him thin, watch him spin. The wall shot, the last pin to fall, the 8th pin, and fell because it was tired, it looked like. Didn't hardly hit it very hard.
That's 4 in a row for Tyler.
Here's a look at that pin action. Watch the head pin. It generally does most of the damage. Comes back, kicks the 2 pin backwards, and it kind of rolls, and just enough to knock the 8 out. This has to be pretty discouraging for Expressway because they bowled so well in the qualifying. As I mentioned, they were the qualifying leaders. In other words, after 6 games, they were leading the tournament. Then they got into match play, and they just could not get it going. They were 3-6-1 in match play, and that was their downfall. In the Baker system, for some reason, they just didn't gel. And like I say, when you lead the tournament and then start getting beat up like that, it can be very discouraging, and it's continued into the telecast here.
Shuler solid for 5 in a row. Each player struck in that first game, and now each player has struck in a row in game 2.
Here's another look at that shot. He's playing a very deep angle between the 4th and 5th arrows, and the tremendous rotation, the roll, the strength of the ball that enters the pocket area. 10 in the pit, excuse me.
Talking with Shuler before we began, these guys love this Baker team competition. Just fires them up.
1-2-4, and they are really struggling, and it's you can see pretty much by their attitude they figure it's like we all do. It's pretty much over with, this match. You kind of bowl for your pride now. You want to make sure you don't make any foolish mistakes. You pick up the spares you can, and when you go home and watch this later, you can say, hey, yeah, I made a good shot. It just wasn't our day. Oops, not this time.
Well, that's just going to expand the lead for Tyler, but more important things going on. We've got 5 in a row for the first for Tyler. A couple of high roller bonuses still in play. Ray Mooney lead off, bowling in the 6th frame. Already has 2 strikes and a spare.
Basically a $1,000 ball here, Mike, if he could strike and they could stay clean. Oh, well, not a bad shot. Easy spare, and that's important. They're still only a double away from that extra $500 bonus.
There's some pretty good spare work. 19 of 22, 86%. And Mooney on the spare. We'll be back for the conclusion of our semifinal match. We'll hear from Bradley Bowl right after this.
You're a winner, and you deserve recognition. In sanctioned leagues and tournaments,
2 million awards are handed out each year by the national governing bodies of bowling, the American Bowling Congress, the Women's International Bowling Congress, and the Young American Bowling Alliance.
But your membership card entitles Sanctioned League bowlers to more than the awards program.
There's more than $1 million each for college scholarships and veterans hospitals, bowlers supporting their communities.
Every member has a chance to compete in thousands of special events, locally, nationally, and internationally.
Sanctioned leagues also provide for the standardization of rules and supplies. Plus, league prize money is bonded.
Equipment testing and research helps advance the sport.
Your membership card does all that.
And every lane is inspected annually by local association volunteers. In short, everything runs smoother, and sanctioned leagues are a lot more fun.
So have more fun and help shape the future of bowling by making sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies, the ABC, WIBC, or YABA.
Back with the rest of our semifinal match from Bradley Bowl. As you can see, Tile All with a huge advantage.
Well, so many of these matches do come down to the last couple of bowlers, the anchormen, and that's what creates all the excitement we see in the World Team Challenge, but it's not going to happen in our opening match. That's pretty obvious. As I mentioned, the bowlers just want to look good out there. You can see there's still some fun involved and getting into it a little bit.
Third strike on the day for Fucci. Or make that his first strike of the day. Oh, it's one. Yes, it is, according to Peter Hagen.
Boy, they're making good shots. I'll tell you what. When, even though they've got this 100-plus pin lead, they're still out there trying to punish those pins a little bit. And they really lined up, and the idea here, I'm sure, in their minds is to continue with the concentration, try to make great shots all the rest of the way through the game, because they have to get ready to bowl for the championship against a great Columbia Cuda C's team, who has won a couple of these regional tournaments in the past, and as we mentioned at the start of the show, finished second in the Grand Championships twice. And that team is really pumped, Mike. We know that. We talked to them. They want to win this regional and go down there and show everybody in Reno that they can be the World Team Challenge champions.
Columbia bowled some big numbers in the Baker system.
They did.
And with the big numbers Tile All shooting, it's certainly going to shape up to be an interesting title match.
There's a good shot, and maybe a little too late, but still, it feels good to do that, and especially when you can go home and watch the telecast later and say, see there, I can do this. I can get this job done, even in front of those television lights.
Paul Alig, 8th frame.
Paul wants to load it up here for the guys bowling in that 4th and 5th position, who are the guys you expect to throw strikes for you. If you can get one here, they might just put this game out. There it is.
And American Bowling Congress field representative Paul Bernier handles things on the East Coast. Enjoyed working with him all weekend, providing support, getting scores, helping us out. Appreciate his help.
Well, not the result he wanted from his strike effort, but an opportunity to show off a little bit here. The washout, the 1-2-10, and he's going to give it everything he's got. Big smile from one of his teammates giving him a bad time about leaving the washout. Big, strong guy, handles that bowling ball like it's a cantaloupe up there. Got a chance. Good. How about that? There you go. Ain't nothing to this game, folks.
It's amazing in this game, Earl, when things go your way.
It is, especially when you're relaxed. And he was relaxed, got up there and made a great shot. And the idea is to get enough of that head pin to get it to slide over there, not so much that you can fly it around it. And that was perfect.
Well, let's turn it over to James Mack and the sideline and get some insight from down on the lanes.
All right, from my vantage point down here, this match looked pretty much like it was experience was the factor. I mean, Tile has bowled together many times before, and they looked loose, they looked aggressive. The other team looked a little tight early on, and they got off to a bad start, and that was it. That's how I see it down. The championship match, I see that, well, they're going to be bowling against the Cuda C's. I mean, the Cuda C's are an experienced team that have bowled together just as they have, and I see it being a real tight match. I don't see there might being an experience.
All right. Well, thanks, James. James and his brother Tim have been known to do some damage on the lanes across the country. And a chop.
Well, there goes the opportunity for the extra $500 bonus from the high roller people for the 240 game, but they are still in line with with a double and a 10th. They can still get to the 450. Well, they've got the 450, excuse me, with a mark. That's what they really need, just a mark.
That's a mark.
Well, I'm talking about their opposition here, the Kyle people who are going to be the winners, as James said, of this opening match. I used to bowl with James' father and Tim's father, Jimmy Mack, long time ago on the PBA tour, and Jimmy was a good bowler, and he's definitely got two sons that know how to bowl. Well, all that remains to be seen in this opening match is whether or not Tylaw can get a mark in the 10th frame for that 450 bonus, $500 from high roller people.
The good folks at High Roller have been writing a couple of checks lately. Oh, Bob Brust finishing up for Expressway Bowling Supply, looking to strike out. Ew. Not one of my favorites. The 4-9.
Good time to do it.
That's 196 for a two-game total of 381 for Expressway Bowling Supply. All that remains to be seen is whether Tylaw can tack on some additional money. Shuler needs to mark. And strikes. That's good.
That's doing it the easy way.
$500.
Yes, sir.
From our good friends at the High Roller Tournament Series for that 450 series. Both teams are eligible for that bonus.
Here's a look at that last strike, and this was, as Mike has mentioned, the $500 shot. Something interesting about him when he lines up, and we'll get a look at him again as he gets set here. Watch his eyes now. You see him talking, he's looking down at the foul line, and then he'll look out at the pins, and then he imagines the line that he wants the ball to take, then he walks up and holds the ball on that line.
If there's a word I can think of when watching Shuler bowl, Earl, that's intensity.
That's a good word for it, and concentration would fit in there along with intensity and desire. All those words kind of go together, and he's got plenty of all that. And ability. There's no question he has a great deal of ability. I like his arm swing. Good free arm swing from the shoulder. Lots of power in the release position here.
And a good time for that to happen. 463. We'll take you around the bowling world when we come back. Our championship match.
Now it's time to go around the bowling world. Brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas. The American Bowling Congress, the world's largest sports membership organization, recently conducted its annual convention as a part of the 94th ABC tournament at the Von Braun Civic Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Convention week began as the stars shone brightly on Hall of Fame night to honor bowling's greatest. Legendary Joe Norris made the walk down center aisle of the ABC tournament lanes to honor this year's inductees after competing in his 68th showcase of bowling. Norris is the lifetime pinfall leader at the ABC National Tournament with over 119,000 pins. The 1997 ABC Hall of Fame induction ceremony honored 5 new members. Ernie Szygiel became the first bowler to be enshrined in both the PBA and ABC Halls of Fame in the same year. Szygiel is a frequent competitor on the Brunswick World Team Challenge circuit and recalled his love for the team game.
Mike McGrath, our anchorman, who was in the pocket all 3 games, only needed a mark for us to win. Easy, I thought. Well, he missed the hairpin. So I knew he was as nervous as all of us. I'm glad it was him and not me, because I'd probably still be there. He made the spare, and he got good count, and our team went crazy, a feeling I haven't felt since.
Frank Esposito was inducted into the ABC Hall of Fame in the Meritorious Service category. Honored in the Pioneer category were Fuzzy Shimada, Bill Rodman, and Louis Stein. The American Bowling Congress christened another new facility as the first event ever held inside the New South Hall at the Von Braun Civic Center. Bowlers took advantage of the new space by checking out the latest in bowling equipment and accessories. ABC convention delegates participated in many seminars, including sessions on rules, public relations, and membership services. The annual ABC convention took place in the beautiful Von Braun Concert Hall and gave delegates the opportunity to amend the ABC rulebook. The delegates also made their way around Huntsville, checking out attractions like the William Henry Burritt Museum and Park, named for a famous Huntsville resident. The U.S. Space and Rocket Center provided delegates a fabulous look back at the history of American rocketry and space travel. Sanctioned bowlers, don't delay. Enter the 7th annual ABC WIBC Mixed Championships. As Derby Day approaches, Louisville and Executive Bowl are gearing up to serve as hosts. The Mixed Championships open on June 20th and run through July 6th. The deadline for entries is May 1st. For information on this exciting national competition, call the National Tournaments Hotline at 800-211-1358. Around the Bowling World has been brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series. Call 800-257-6179 for entry information. The Brunswick World Team Challenge returns with our championship matches. Tile All Incorporated will face Columbia Cuda C's to determine who goes to Reno in the Grand Championships. And right now, James Mack had a chance to talk with Super Bowl High Roller winner Bob Przicki.
Bob, congratulations on your big win at the Super Bowl High Roller this past January. I was there. It was real exciting to watch, as I'm sure it was for those around the country.
The feeling of winning the High Roller is undescribable, and the recognition and respect that you get from your peers is unbelievable.
Well, Bob, you've experienced just about everything there is to in competitive bowling. What makes the High Roller event so special?
It's match play, James. It's the electricity during match play. The agony of losing, the thrill of victory. I've experienced both of them at the High Roller.
Well, you're definitely a High Roller veteran. You've bowled in some 15 events. I'm sure July will be number 16. How do you like your chances in Vegas?
Well, I'll be there. I'm not one lost for words. I'm not one with lack of confidence. I expect to do very well this summer.
Well, Bob, I look forward to seeing you out there, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by the Silver Legacy Casino, proud host of the 1997 Grand Championships, August 24th through the 28th, with qualifying and the exciting finals at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. And we now decide who gets to take that trip. Tile All advances to face Columbia Cuda C's, defeating Expressway Bowling Supply 463 to 381 in our semifinal match. And here's Ray Mooney to start our championship final.
Well, that's the way to start it, Mike. And this team really, I'm sure, is very aware that they have to bowl well in this match. There's no question that they've got their hands full with one of the finest five-man teams we've ever had. This is a great team. We talked about how they finished second twice in the two Grand Championships, and you see Michael getting his little 1-6 stuck on the bowling ball there.
That's right. It's time to start the music and dance the Lichstein Ballet. Here it comes. Great shot, Earl, and boys, he's solid at the line.
And he's talking to the pins already. He's pumped. I mean, he wants to get his team pumped, and that's why he's bowling leadoff. And here's a look at the style or the form or whatever you want to call this of Mike Lichstein. But look at the last three steps. just as good as anybody else right there. I'll tell you what. There's a look at his father, who is a PBA Hall of Famer, Larry Lichstein, and Larry, I'm sure, did not teach his son to get to the foul line that way. As a matter of fact, didn't you talk to Larry, and he had Mike, and he told you why he bowls like that?
Yes, apparently it started as he started bowling with too heavy of a ball in his youth, and he needed to get something going to get the momentum to get the heavier ball going in his approach.
Well, whatever works for you, as long as you can repeat it, that's the key. And here's a look at a great left-hander in his own right, Patrick Allen. This team with 3 outstanding left-handers on it and 2 right-handers who can also play the game very well. So Cuda C's has been the team to beat just about every time they get together in one of the World Team Challenges. Patrick very fast to the foul line, got way ahead of that shot. Watching him in practice just before we went on the air, and he was throwing the ball very well. This time very fast and no chance to get the ball back. Just a little excited there. He needs to take a couple of deep breaths and slow down and relax a little bit. Not an easy spare for the left-hander, the 1-3-6. You can see him shaking his head. Can't believe he could throw the ball like that after throwing it so well in practice. Wants the ball to cross the head pin. The ball should take all 3 pins. Clear. Well, he didn't. He's got to feel pretty fortunate that he made that spare.
Paul Alig up for Tyalol. Mooney and Szygiel have already struck.
Now, I've been saying how good this Cuda C team is, but I'll tell you what, this Tyalol team is no slouch. And these guys have what I consider an advantage in the fact that they have already bowled a match on the pair. They have an idea what the lanes are like, and plus they are accustomed to the television cameras and this huge crowd here at Bradley Bowl looking on. So they're not nearly as nervous as the Columbia team. If they can get out of the gate, get started early here, and build up some kind of a substantial lead, it could be tough for Columbia to come back. The 2-8, and he's going to try to hook it into the spare. Oh, he's throwing hard and straight. That's dangerous, and that's the result you get when you do that.
The contour power grip starting lineup for the Columbia Cuda C's. Mike Lichstein, Patrick Allen, Mike Mullin, Bryan O'Keefe in the slot, and the anchor player, Bryan Boghosian.
I like that name, Boghosian. I like the sound. It just kind of rolls off your tongue. Boghosian. I like that. Another fine young bowler right here. Good left-hander. Solid foul line. Boy, there's a lot of emotion in this match, and it could be a great one. We'll be right back after this message.
I take the same route to the local pro shop. I wear the same boxers on every show. I watch the same TV program every week. I listen to the same CD every night. I eat the same thing on Wednesdays. I am the same man I used to be. I have a different ball for every lane, but they're all from the same company.
And we're back with more of the Lynn Shoes Open. We're in the first of our 2-game championship match. Here's John Longacre.
Well, this team has gotten off to some great starts in the opening match when they did in their opposition with a great 463 set. They started with the first game with a 3-bagger. They started the second game with a 4-bagger. They started against Columbia Cuda C's with a double, but then they make the mistake at the open. So Columbia right back into the match. It's early on, only the 4th frame of this 2-game, as you mentioned, championship match, and this, I think, is going to be a great match. In fact, James Mack mentioned that he thought it would be a real close, tight match, and I have to agree with that. I think it's going to be a good one.
Now let's go to James for some insight down on the lanes. James?
Well, I was just watching the fellows practice the Cuda C's beforehand, and none of them in particular looked like they had a great reaction other than Patrick Allen. But Mike Mullin in particular made a big move on his last shot, and I was pretty impressed with the aggressive move because he was going high. He moved way in on a shot that counted on the for score just now. His last few practice shots, he had a hard time getting the ball left of the head pin.
Thanks, James. And Bryan O'Keefe leaving the 5-8.
Bryan, again, very fast. This ball just got away from him to the right and never really had an opportunity to get back. You get it out in that area of the lane, it's pretty hard to get it back, especially with that kind of ball speed. Easy spare, pretty fortunate, got an 8 count. Shouldn't have any problem. Actually, can use this for a lineup. Try to see if he can get the ball to roll into the pocket area.
Make that a 1-2 spare conversion for O'Keefe. Things tight here in the early going. We go to the 5th frame. Our look at our anchor players wearing the 5-0, meaning they bowl the 5th and the 10th. Columbia Cuda C's with a 4-pin advantage. First time Tyler is bowled from behind.
First time they bowl from behind, but this is a guy that's done the job for him both times, according to our statistician Peter Hagen. In the 10th frame, he threw doubles. So if it gets down to that, expect a lot out of Mr. Shuler.
Light in the pocket and a nice carry.
Well, you said the right thing earlier, Mike, when you said he had a lot of an intensity, and you can see it in his face and his eyes. And he's trying to get this team up for this big match, trying to get them to really feel that they have to make good shots and be involved emotionally.
.210 qualifying average for Boghosian, shooting .621 and .641 during his qualifying.
Playing an unusual line for what we've seen so far today, playing that extreme outside angle, and you have to be very, very sharp, and your speed has to be perfect to play that angle. Look at some qualifying averages. The regular in the Baker system, Columbia Cuda C's an outstanding 214 average in the Baker system, which was just unbelievable. And our Expressway team that led the qualifying, but then in the match play, you see they were 3-6-1. They lost that opening match to Tyler, and Columbia Cuda C's at 9-1, which is again outstanding. Tough spare, the washout. No conversion. So Columbia getting off to a poor start here, Mike. We'll be back for more in just a moment.
When it comes to making quality bowling shoes, no company does it better than Linz. And now Linz has designed an entirely new approach with the Classic Extra. The Linz Classic Extra offers the ability to change the sliding characteristics of both the sole and the heel, providing virtually unlimited options. If you find the approaches are a bit slick or tacky, the Classic Extra enables you to compensate by simply replacing the color-coded slide inserts. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Classic Extra from Linz.
Getting the proper feel is important to every bowler. Grip inserts provide you with that proper feeling on every shot. That's why today's top professionals choose only Contour Power Grips, and you should too.
Contour Power Grips, manufactured by the pioneers in the finger grip industry, Pro Sports Systems. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. Ask your Pro Shop professional for Contour Power Grips, the grips that legends use.
It's a tank.
A dancer.
It's off the charts. It's on target. Concrete. A theory.
Ruthless, only meaner.
It's there in the 10th frame. Perfect symmetry. It's a partner. A hero.
A scapegoat.
It's war and peace. It's a Brunswick ball. For any lane. It's a habit.
All kinds of mayhem going on while we were away. 6-pin lead for tile advantage. Ed Shuler leaves the big 4 in his 5th. Foul for the Columbia Cuda C's in the 6th. Lichstein fouls. 6 pins the advantage. And I saw Patrick Allen talking with tournament director Dennis Arneska about the foul. I don't know if they were thinking about that, perhaps.
Well, yeah, they had a problem in practice. Patrick Allen was sliding very close, and he felt the foul light was going off without him actually fouling. Then, of course, there's a look at Patrick Allen with his head down, and he's just trying to get his head on straight, get back into the match here. But Mike Lichstein did foul and threw a strike while doing it, and then did not get the spare, and that was very costly for Columbia. So Tyler taking advantage of that and just filling the frames, and they build up a margin here. And it looks like Columbia is going to have to get their head on straight, even though it's only 6 pins. So much talent on this team, this Columbia team, and there's a lot of it in this young man right here. Only 22 years old, and Mike can flat get it down there and get it done. Look at his stats, Mike. He's 4 Baker games and only 1 mistake. Oh, look at that. That's a bad break. That is a bad break. The 6-7 on what he would normally get a strike from. That particular light hit with that much rotation on the ball will normally be a strike for him, and this time he gets the 6-7 split, and this is a very difficult spare, and Columbia just not having a good day at this point after having such a wonderful day in match play. Talked about their 9-1 record and their .214 average in the Baker system.
It's still early, and the lead is small. Mullin takes the count. The 1994 Chuck Hall Star of Tomorrow Award winner. The lead is 19 pins for Tile All as we move to the 9th frame in the first of our 2-game Baker match to decide the championship here at the Lynn Shoes Open on the Brunswick World Team Challenge.
I'm kind of curious what's going on in Patrick Allen's head down there. He seems to be very down on himself for some reason.
Come on.
The team just not acting like a team. I'm wondering what's going on down there. What do you think? Maybe James could help us out and talk to a couple of those guys?
I can tell you this: I bowled with Patrick a lot in the past, and that's just his mannerism when he bowls. He kind of focuses, and it really keeps him within himself. I don't really think he's down on himself. I just think he's trying to find out how to get his game back together. Tell me when.
Longacre with 93% spares in match play, picking up that single pin. And we certainly appreciate the sponsorship of Lynn Shoes, who's been with us ever since the beginning of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Our event sponsor here, the Lynn Shoes Open at Bradley Bowl. Jeff Lind, great person for bowling, Earl.
We'll be up there to see Jeff in just a couple of weeks up in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area for the World Team Challenge. As usual, another sellout.
And the fine folks at Cedar Vale Lanes, we'll be seeing them in a couple of weeks.
Boy, not what I expected. I have to be, I'm very shocked. I'm surprised at the way the scoring has gone, and Tile All seems to not be able to get anything going, but they're still leading in this match because Columbia is shooting themselves in the foot, basically, if you want to use a very poor expression. They just cannot seem to make a good shot. And when they do, they get the couple they have made have been, they've gotten unlucky, bad results with the foul by Lichstein and the split, the 6-7 by Mr. Mullin, the young lefty who made a good shot.
O'Keefe picks up the spare. He's the 1996 national champion at the University of Nebraska. We get to the anchor position, and here's Ed Shuler.
He's been the man of the hour, you might say, for Tile All. Able to perform extremely well, doubling in the 10th, both games of the opening match, and striking in the 5th frame here. Got that one down early and got up high, but it stopped. He's got to be pretty happy about that. That ball came off his hand extremely early, and it's set up for him. Here's a look at it. Watch, the ball's on the ground right there. It's on the floor already. And you might say he was careful or steering the ball a little bit, but he got the ball to set up, and good trip the 4-7, and his reaction is, oh yeah, and his team's off the bench to meet him. That's team bowling for you. Let's do it together, guys. We're all in this together. A little more on that one. Got that one out in front of him, got a little more lift on it, went right through the nose. That's the difference.
Now with 2 pins and count here, we're looking at 178 for Tile All. Columbia bowling at a 161 pace.
Well, Columbia very fortunate at this point. Tile All is bowling extremely well coming into this match, especially in that, as you know, in the opening match, the 463 total is an outstanding Baker system 2-game total. And they're just waiting around for Columbia, giving Columbia the opportunity to get back into this. And I'm sure that if Bryan Boghosian can double in the 10th here, when we go into the 2nd game of this 2-game total pin match, Columbia is going to be up emotionally, feeling like they've got an excellent chance to win this. Oh, threw the rope right at it, and he got a break.
We'll take a look at some upcoming events here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. We move to the Detroit, Michigan area, April 5th and 6th. For Astro Lanes. There are entries available at these 2 events. And if there's any indication as to how the bowlers loved bowling in this event, get your entries in early. These two events are sold out at Norcross, Georgia. And Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl. We'll get to see Ted Hoffman and the folks at Dublin Bowl. And then we move to the Midwest in Hawthorne Lanes, Bill Spigner's house in Vernon Hills, Illinois, NKC Pro Bowl. And we've got one ladies event remaining at Brunswick Perry Hall Lanes in Baltimore in late June. If you'd like information on how to get your team in, and believe me, entries are early, are the best, give us a call at the World Team Challenge hotline. .159 with a clean fill. Hit that 158 and a 20-pin lead for Tylal. Our second game in the championship match. We'll turn it around and decide our winner right after this. Welcome back to the Lynn Shoes Open here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Game 2 of our championship match. Columbia Cuda C's getting off early in that first game, only down 2 marks. Here's Lichstein. Good mixing strike. They had gone 7 frames without a strike, Earl.
Well, and you can see Mike trying to get the team pumped up there and get them into this emotionally. And you know, they've got the physical talent to play this game extremely well, but they're down on themselves right now. And they had an outstanding day in match play, going 9-1, and now they need to get it together and win just this one more match. But Tylal is going to give them all they can handle. 20-pin lead. And this could be the one that comes down to the anchor man again, where we can see who can perform in the hand to in the clutch.
Mooney cuts through for the big 4.
Oh boy, well, this is almost an even match, that quick. As a matter of fact, with a strike in the second frame, it would be real close, like a 2-pin match, and I think it would be the advantage of Columbia.
That's back-to-back big 4s for Mooney. Ooh, almost kicked it out.
Almost. I'm wondering if the lanes are changing a little, if the players are not making the right moves, or if they're just feeling the heat a little bit about bowling an experienced and strong team like Columbia Cuda C. Maybe that's possibly the problem that Tylal has.
Well, let's go down to James Mack, who possibly has a better angle on this. James?
During the break, I talked to Mike Mullin about getting the momentum back, and he was pretty quick to let me know that after they shot 150 earlier today in the Bakers, they came back with a 250. So they're pretty confident, and I expect them to be there at the end. Back to Mike.
Strike and a double, and Earl, you said it and it came true. What a turnaround early here in the Baker system.
Well, you know, it's kind of a a strange way to get yourself going, bowling 150 and then coming back. I don't think that's the formula for success. Not in my book, anyway. If you're capable of shooting 250, why not do it the first game?
That's right. We do have a lead change as Columbia Cuda C's have taken a 2-pin lead, erasing that 20-pin deficit very quickly here in game 2 after the lane change. Here's Szygiel.
Oh, look at this. Now there's a little bit of an unusual pin reaction.
That pin out of range here.
That pin was laying down and it stood back up. That's pretty unique. It's a good bottom on these Brunswick pins, folks. You got to hit them to get them. Watch what happens on the left side of the screen. The head pin will go to the wall, come back and kick and stand the 2-pin, excuse me, the 4-pin right back up again. It's falling down. Watch the head pin stand it right back up. There you go. Got to be careful. This could be chopped. Needs to get both pins with the ball if possible. That's a good shot. Great shot.
And a nice conversion for Szygiel. 2 pins the advantage for Columbia here in the 3rd frame, and a chance to extend that lead to 12. It's Mike Mullin, a couple of spares in his first 2 attempts, and striking on a double is Columbia. They are on their feet. 3 in a row for Columbia Cuda C's, and things turn around in a hurry, Earl.
Boy, don't they ever. And a team as explosive as they are, again, Tylal, I'm sure, is feeling a little heat going into this match to begin with, and felt very fortunate to have a 20-pin lead by not bowling well. 178, you normally aren't going to have a 20-pin lead. And here comes Columbia. So Tylal has to get the momentum back in their favor, and the only way to do that is to make good shots, throw some strikes. This looks like it's got an opportunity. It's high through the nose, 3-6. And he says, I didn't foul, and the foul light went off. So we're having a little problem down there with None of us knows exactly what's going on, but we might need to put a foul judge out there maybe to watch the foul line.
Alig looking for help from tournament director Dennis Sarneska. Apparently I heard someone mention that perhaps the left foul lane light went off. And that is been confirmed. It looks like the left foul lane light went off. James, what do you got for us down there?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was the left lane foul light that went off, and I don't think he tripped it with his right foot after he slid.
And maintaining composure, he picks up the spare.
Well, that could have been a major turnaround if that had been called a foul, because they were on a spare. They would have lost that 10 pins in count, and he might not have made the spare if it had been called a foul. So it's a good thing that James and all the boys were watching that closely and knew what was going on. Columbia on 3 in a row and a chance to extend their lead and really put some pressure on Tylal. Taking a lot of time here. We do have a 25-second clock, which means you must get rid of the ball in 25 seconds from the time the pins are set.
Not aloft.
I'll tell you, that was the kind of hit that could have gone either way. It could have been a strike. Instead, he ends up with the light hit, the wall shot, and the 8-pin, an easy spare. Again, taking an extremely long amount of time. Come on, Bryan. You got a bowl now. You can't stand there forever. Went over to get his spare ball. Oh, boy.
Oh, my. We'll be back with the rest of our championship match following these messages. Back with the remainder of our championship match from Bradley Bowl. And Earl, it's been Ocho Loco, all 8 counts, as Columbia Cuda C's have taken a 16-pin lead as we go to the last 4 frames.
Well, no one seems to be able to get lined up, hit the pocket. Patrick Allen with tremendous ball speed. This one will get down there in a real hurry because he's going to just try to overpower the lane. And he did, but it never got back.
And those 8s are coming wild again, crazy 8s.
And at least it's an easy spare. The others were 4-7s and things of that nature, which are a little tougher. In fact, one of the players for Tylal missed the 4-7 after we'd seen 3 or 4 guys in a row leave it. Let's see if Patrick can hit the head pin and get the spare. Columbia kind of coasting in on this one because Tylal just cannot seem to get it going. Just not the scores we expected, especially out of Tylal. We expected them to be very aggressive and shoot some numbers like they did in the opening match. They've got an opportunity to do a reverse American Bowling Congress 100 under your average patch type thing here. They shot 463 the opening match. They might shoot about 350 this game.
I own a couple of those.
Do you really? Okay.
14 pins, the difference.
There's a shot. That's what we've been looking for. That's the Tylal we saw in the opening match.
And Szygiel stops the bleeding for Tylal. 14 pins, 8th frame, Michael Mullin.
Really solid game here. Now, if you want to copy someone and you're not a real big person stature-wise, take a look at this game. Good fundamentals, great arm swing, lets the ball swing free from the shoulder, good balance at the line, gets through it real hard, and there's a good result. Here's a look at Ken West, who is one of the premier promoters in the bowling industry. He's done an outstanding job for years out here in the Connecticut area. And there's that great smile we've known and loved for some 30 years around here. Really a good guy.
Paul Alig with a chance to double for Tylal would cut the lead to 4 pins. 8th frame.
Got a break. Had the 4-9 and leaves only the 4. Still this match up for grabs. Here's another look at that. The ball just hits a little too hard, a little high in the head pin, and did get a break. Got a big break, just leaving only the 4. And his reaction is, oh boy, thank you very much. That'll make your tummy a little queasy, huh?
Alig converts a spare. 14 pins, the lead for Columbia Cuda C as we enter the foundation 9th frame.
Well, now it comes down to the guys that are paid to perform, the last few people on your team, the guys bowling 4th and 5th, and you expect them to get up there and make good shots in this situation, and whoever does perform now is going to end up being the winners. Is that close? Oh, now there's another really bad break, and you see his reaction and his teammates' reaction. They can't believe that he left the 8-10 on a light pocket hit. It just doesn't happen. Well, it happened this time. Here's another look at it. And watch the balls. It goes down the lane. He's playing between 3rd and 4th arrow. It's plenty of back end here. The head pin jumps up in the air and goes right over top of the 8 pin. Very, very unusual leave. Going to throw it real hard, try to bounce it out of the pit. Not to be. Now we have basically an even match. Only 2 pins separating these two teams with just a couple of frames to play. And now I would think that the advantage goes to tile all. And the reason being they have 2 frames to play. Columbia only has 1. A strike here for tile all, and it brings up their big man, Shuler, in the 10th frame, and he's been outstanding when they need him.
2 pins the advantage for Columbia. It's Longacre, who threw 60% strikes in match play. Winds it up in the 9th.
Oh, and he made a good shot. Oh my, just not falling. They're just really, really tough to knock down right now. And that was a fine shot under the circumstances. And you know he's feeling some pressure, the perspiration on the hands, and a little bit on the head, on the forehead. And now he's got to go up and make this spare, give his team a chance to win it in the 10th frame. And there's the anchor man Shuler looking on, knowing exactly what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to do just 2 pins better, 3 pins better than his opponent does in the 10th frame. And there's his opponent waiting to play, and he'll finish first for Columbia Cuda C.
And there's the spare. As so often happens, Earl, here in the Baker system and Baker team match play, it comes down to the anchor players. Here's Bryan Boghosian for Columbia Cuda C. Needs a double and 8 to shut out tile all.
Both these players outstanding when they need to be. They seem to find a way to get the ball in the pocket to see if Bryan can perform. Taking a lot of time. I don't like that.
Oh, solid in the pocket for Boghosian.
Isn't that amazing how talented they can be when you need them to be? And I'll tell you what, they get up there, the concentration level goes up another 20 points maybe, and they get up and make the great shot. Look at the deep breath. He's feeling it. He's feeling the pressure. He knows he needs a strike and 8 to win this. Maybe put them in position to be the World Team Challenge champions in Reno.
Shuler on deck, waiting his chance. Will Boghosian let him have that opportunity? Strike an 8 to shut out.
And someone just coughed a little and made him sit back and start over again. And taking lots of time here. Just a brief lack of concentration there, just because of the noise in the audience. A lot of people here. You can't expect complete silence. They're doing their best, but here we go.
A double, big double.
All right, 8 to win, 8 or better to win on this ball. I would be surprised if he hit the pocket with this ball. I would expect him to throw a high, hard Brooklyn. This ball should get down there in a real hurry, and it should be just left center of the head pin. The problem with trying to hit the pocket is if you make a small error, you might get 6. 8 to win. Here we go.
And he got them all. We will be back to meet our champions, the Columbia Cuda C's, when we return.
You're a winner, and you deserve recognition. In sanctioned leagues and tournaments, 2 million awards are handed out each year by the national governing bodies of bowling, the American Bowling Congress, the Women's International Bowling Congress, and the Young American Bowling Alliance.
But your membership card entitles sanctioned league bowlers to more than the awards program.
There's more than $1 million each for college scholarships and veterans hospitals, bowlers supporting their communities.
Every member has a chance to compete in thousands of special events, locally, nationally, and internationally.
Sanctioned leagues also provide for the standardization of rules and supplies, plus league prize money is bonded.
Equipment testing and research helps advance the sport.
Your membership card does all that.
And every lane is inspected annually by local association volunteers. In short, everything runs smoother, and sanctioned leagues are a lot more fun.
So have more fun and help shape the future of bowling by making sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies, the ABC, WIBC, or YABA.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros use Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Keepsake, designer and manufacturer of championship ring awards. By Bud Light, proud sponsors of bowling. Make it a Bud Light. And by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies.
Here are our champions, and with me, Bob Malucci, president of Bowlmaster Incorporated, and Bob has a presentation to make. Bob?
Congratulations. Great bowling this week. On behalf of Lynn Shoe Company and all their employees, we congratulate you and your team and with this award, and then we're also getting you the extra shoe for everybody to bowl with. Thank you.
And congratulations again, and thank you very much for joining us.
This has been an ABC Eagle Productions telecast.